Hello there, Internet. So yeah, Tekken here. Debut episode of my weekly comic book video thingy that I'm trying to do. So basically, I got back into comics. Basically, I made a video. It was like an hour long, so let me try to condense that. So after taking a dump on comics on Facebook, I was like, you know what, that was kind of wrong to me. And then like there's a sequence of events that led to me being like, I should check out, this issue of this comic. And then like lo and behold, Avengers vs. X-Men happened, and then like Avengers vs. X-Men Consequences happened, and then Marvel Now happened, which was basically a sequence of events that was like easy for new readers like myself that had either been gone from the comic scene or just like didn't whatever, just like not into the hobby, not into it, and just like a good jumping on point. It was like very similar to the DC New 52, but I haven't picked up any of those books yet, so this will be like very Marvel centric for the first couple of videos until I get into reading some of the Batman stuff. Maybe Green Lantern, whatever. So, so yeah. But before I start, I just want to give a nice shout out to Comixology. The site is where I get all my digital comic books from because I don't get any physical copies. It's all digital. That's why I'm like making all these screen captures and stuff. I guess that's probably like another reason why I'm making these videos. Like if I wasn't, it'd just be vlogs about me talking about them, but now I can like just talk about them and then just put in some like visual aids of like, oh, this is what's going down like in this panel as I'm talking about it. So yeah. This is going to be different though, where it's just basically not like the Avengers vs. X-Men Consequences where I'm doing like full issue like synopsis. It's just like a quick hit of like, this is what happened, this is what went down, this is what I thought, opinion thing like that. But yeah, Comixology is pretty cool because it's like, it like does a really good job of like keeping your collection organized, and like they have some really good deals every now and then. Like I was able to pick up House of M like $8 because it was like $1 issue sale or something, so I got all this for $8. And then I picked up like Infinity Gauntlet. I haven't read it yet, and so like on this, okay, I'm not gonna like shell out for Comixology. It's a cool site, check it out. Let's get down to business about what I read this week. So this week I picked up Guardians of the Galaxy 1. Why I was excited for this book was because basically I saw all this stuff on the internet after the Avengers movie came out, which I have not seen yet. And I think I'm gonna like keep my stance on that. I think I'm like just gonna like not see the movie and like just read the comics and just enjoy it, because it's like usually the book is better than the movie anyway. So it's like why ruin the experience for myself? So I saw all the stuff on the internet about blah 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 secret clip at the end of Avengers vs. X-Men. I mean, I'm sorry, secret clip at the end of the Avengers with Thanos or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then basically, over the summer last summer, Avengers vs. X-Men happened, and then like the fallout from that. And I had not been in the know-how or what was going down. And then one of my friends on Facebook was doing like this videos about comic books and stuff, so I watched one. I was like, oh, that's pretty entertaining. I like that. Enjoyed that. It was very, I don't know. It was like, I felt very nostalgic. I was like, oh, it brings me back. And then like on the sidebar, it had like related videos, and one of them was like, I'm being complete off topic. I don't care. This is my extemporaneous style of recording. If you don't like it, just push the dislike button, because this is how it's going to be. But like on the sidebar of the video he was doing, it was all Comic Book Girl 19. So I checked that out, and there's like this crazy rundown video of Avengers vs. X-Men. I was like, holy crap, that was awesome. And then like lo and behold, Marvel Now is happening. I was like, oh, it's a good time to jump on. So I totally just like picked up a bunch of issues, and I've been reading ever since that video. It was like this January, actually. I read a bunch of back issues, and like none of the new stuff that's coming out now is that had like been like relaunched yet. Like All New X-Men wasn't as many issues as it is now. It was only like a few issues, so I was able to like catch up with all the cool stuff I'm reading now. Back on topic. So Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh, also another channel I'm looking at is I think it's called Beyond the Ink or something like that. And it has like a bunch of comic book videos on there too. And I looked at some of those. I was like, oh, okay. And it's like there's like two really good video series that I'm like looking at. I'm like, oh, okay. They got me back in. I was like, okay, I want to read these. I want to like see what's going on. But yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy. What's going on there? So I read issue point one with the Star-Lord origin story. That was pretty cool. That's the other thing about this. Like this team. I'm sorry. This team of heroes. Like I had no idea like who they were or whatever. Or, like what's the big deal about them or why they're so awesome? Because like I heard, oh, they're making a movie about them. So it's like, well, I've never even heard of these dudes. So I guess I'll check that out. And then like lo and behold, Iron Man's on the team, and that led me into like picking up Iron Man and reading all those. So I'm up to, I think it's like issue, I don't know what issue it's on. But I know like in the story, like right now he's on trial for killing the Phoenix Force. So that's pretty funny, like Tony Stark. Because like in Avengers vs. X-Men in the beginning, he like shoots this thing at it, and it splits into 5, and that's like right before it possesses like the Phoenix 5 of Namor, Magic, Colossus, Emma Frost, and Cyclops. And we all know how that ends. So he's on trial for that, and then like he's in deep space because basically he had dealt with like the extremist virus and like on the black market and like criminals getting a hold of it. So he did that. He like destroyed all the samples that were out in the wild, and then he's like, I gotta go out here and explore, and like this has been bugging me for a while. I gotta let my explorers wings spread and fly out there. So he totally like blasts off, and he's on trial, but it hasn't gotten to that point in that book yet of like how he ended up in the Guardians of the Galaxy. But in the Guardians of the Galaxy book, it picks up with Star-Lord, who's in some cantina on some planet. It probably says, I don't remember what it was. It was whatever. It's like a setup basically where it's like he's talking to his dad, and then he's all, I made, or like the galactic races of the galaxy, universe, whatever, what have you, have made a rule: no one touches Earth, no one's going to go there or go to that planet. We're going to let the humans develop on their own and not even mess with them, and like nobody can touch them. And then Star-Lord's like, what are you talking about? Like, if you do that, that's basically going to signal to all the bad people in the galaxy that, well, if they're not going to go there or touch it or defend it, we can totally go in and just wreck Earth. So it's cool what happens next because, well, there's some stuff that goes down where, I forgot the lady's name. Is it Gamora? I think it's Gamora. She comes in, and she's all, like, fighting some dudes from, like, his dad, who is basically, like, the king of some planet. It's weird. Well, it's not weird, it's just, he's all, oh, I'm king of blah, 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 but yeah. I'm sorry. So, yeah. One of his crew comes in to like help him, and then whatever, he's talking to his dad, talking about nobody's gonna touch Earth, blah 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 blah. And it comes to Iron Man. He's all in space, flying away, and then wow, I'm trying not to do synopsis style, but whatever, I can't help it. And then he's getting attacked by some aliens. I really need to make. Okay, I'm gonna apologize this time because I'm like skipping over all the details. I'm just like, this person, that person, like not saying names or places because I read it a couple hours ago. I didn't this isn't right after I read it. So if I had just read it, I'd know, but whatever. So he's getting attacked, and then this ship of aliens that are very evil, aggressive, and he's like, holy crap, how am I going to survive this? And then the Guardians of the Galaxy show up in their ship, and they start just destroying the other ship. Giant battle scene with like the Guardians of the Galaxy, like full force. Everybody's just like wrecking shop. It's pretty cool. It was Gamora. So like, yeah, they're basically just like kicking the crap out of the aliens, and then they blow up their ship. But then it's weird because like they blow up their ship, but then like they also like send it towards a planet. But then it's cool what happens because like they send it towards a planet, but like the like it pans back so you can like see where they're at, and they're actually like above Earth. So like the aliens are going after Earth, and the Guardians of the Galaxy, it's basically like, okay, we're gonna like stop these dudes, and that's where basically the first issue ends. It's like dun dun dun, to be continued. What's going to happen? Can they actually stop these aliens from like coming in and wrecking shop on Earth? Which is really weird, I gotta say, the final panel, because of course they're like London and like aliens, so it's like, oh, it's kind of like, totally made me reminisce about Mass Effect 3. I was like, whatever. Other book I'm reading, Age of Ultron. I'm not even gonna discuss Age of Ultron because it's super spoilery. Like, I don't want to touch it until there's like, it's so weird though. It's like so slow. Like straight up. Like the first issue, it's basically like everybody's getting the crap kicked out of them. Second issue, everybody's getting the crap kicked out of them. Third issue, everybody's getting the crap kicked out of them. But there's like one revelation where it's like, oh, I didn't see that coming. So that's pretty cool. But like, yeah, it's like, it's like I'm like reading this. I'm like, okay, how in the F are they going to win this? Like straight up. So I'm very interested to see what happens here. This, like, as we get dragged along until June of like the conclusion. And there's also like two tie-in books from different titles this week, like Spider-Man, Superior Spider-Man, and Fantastic Four. I didn't pick them up because I didn't know like if they would like. I wanted to read this to see like if it like would like have any sort of maybe like hint at anything in those books, as opposed to like reading them and having it just flesh out more of what's happening in this book. So like just reading this, it's like I don't feel I have to read those because nothing really happened, or it's like some key part is missing that I think I should be able to see in some other book. So yeah. And then Uncanny Avengers 5, I'm really enjoying this book. Like the first arc of what just happened was basically there's a giant fight in Manhattan where like Red Skull was using his. Ooh, I don't want to spoil it. He has like gained these new powers, and then like he was able to control all these people in New York, in Manhattan, and then just like incite a riot and like violence against mutants in this like small radius. And then the Uncanny Avengers came in to stop him, and then just like this massive throwdown happened. It was great. I loved it. I'll be discussing like all this stuff more when I finally get into the synopsis videos for each different series, but this is just like a bam 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 of like every book this week. So basically this book starts off after that, so like the Avengers were semi-victorious, but Red Skull still got away. And then you have Wonder Man and Wasp going to Avengers Mansion to have a press conference because they're going to like do PR to like make the Avengers like, or like try to give them a good image. I guess that's basically like the theme of this issue, is like trying to get their image to be like not terrible since they have mutants on their team and people are like, oh, and a mutant, blah blah blah. And also like Red Skull has like this this dude on the S-Men who can like deliver propaganda, and it like totally controls the, well, not controls, but like manipulates the thoughts and, you know, brains of people that are like tuned in. So he like does that, and it's always like an anti-mutant message. So like after that airs, it always has like an effect of some anti-mutant crime happening or something. So it's like after that happened, like 3 mutants were killed or something. So and then it like shows like some of the X-Men moving into Avengers Mansion. So it's like Rogue's like putting this picture on the wall or whatever, and then like when Wasp comes in, she's like, whoa whoa whoa. So that's like why I like this book, is like there's like this inner conflict within the team of like not completely trusting one another. So it's like that's what I like about this book, and just the fact that it's like half X-Men and like half Avengers. So that's a pretty cool concept of like a half and half team. And then like the other thing is like Captain America's on the team, but he's not in charge. He let Havoc be the leader of the team. So it's like you have times when like Havoc is just like telling Captain America what to do, and like Cap is like kind of not able to take it well because he's always used to being like the one in the lead, in charge and stuff. So that's pretty cool. But basically stuff goes down. There's like a press conference. The Grim Reaper shows up. Fight ensues. So I'm like, oh man, like I didn't even expect this. So I was like, oh, this is so awesome. There's like a throwdown every issue. I love this book. So that happens. Stuff goes down. There's a spoiler in there, so I'm not going to say what happens. But it was really nice action sequence, and stuff happens, and yeah, I can't wait to see what happens next, and that was great. Next book was Uncanny X-Force. This book I love just because it has Psylocke in it, and I haven't really read too many X-Men stories or books or whatever with her in it. And it's pretty cool what they did at the like beginning of this issue. They had like this really like short mini origin of like when she had her like mental powers manifest of like being able to like read people's minds and stuff with her telepathy. So that's pretty cool. And then it flashed back to like where the last issue ended, where basically Bishop had shown up and just like wrecked everybody, which was Storm, Psylocke, Puck, Siren, or not Siren, I'm sorry, Storm, Spiral, Puck, and Spiral. And then like there's a child with them. They say what her name is in this issue. I forgot already. He takes the kid and like is off, and then like Storm and Puck are like, okay, they're basically arguing because like Storm was like, I'll call in some backup from the school, and then we can like go after them after they get here. Puck's like, dude, we should just take Spiral back to Wolverine because this mission's over. That's what we were here to do. We're here to come in and get this drug dealer out, and we totally did because she was like giving away like these. Well, you find out in this issue it was just a placebo effect because the drug was actually the mutant mutant child lady girl, who was all like being able to like manipulate the minds of everybody and feel like they were in like a conscious of like, oh, I want to belong to this group, blah blah blah. So yeah, but yeah, Spiral also goes into like she was doing it to like manipulate them so they could make money because the X-Men are always nagging her and she can never get a job because of them, and that's pretty funny. Or just how like she's like a super villain, so like she's always being hovered over by superheroes who are gonna like get her at the first slip up. And then they go, but like from the previous issues, like Psylocke was able to track the mutant child with her telepathy because she was like leaving behind these like mental imprint things or something. So they get Spiral to teleport them. They ended up like letting Spiral go and like having her help them to find the lost child mutant because Spiral's like, we gotta find her, blah blah blah. So they teleport and they end up in a subway, and then it's weird because like it's dark, they can't see anything, and they're like, where are we? And then like there's this train that comes screaming by, and they're like, okay, that's weird because I'm not getting any readings from my mental or my like telepathy like anybody's nearby. That's what Psylocke says. And then like all of a sudden they see Bishop and like the lights flash up from the train. They're like, holy crap, he's in here. So it's like a really cool fight scene in like a really congested area. Just like, yeah. That's the other thing I love about this book is like there's also like some fight scenes which are really cool. Psylocke, she's like a ninja and like telepath, and she has a sword. But yeah, anyway. So there's this throwdown in the subway, and Spiral ends up getting a hold of the kid after Psylocke gets Bishop to drop him. She like cuts him with a sword on his arm, and then she like takes him down, and then she but she like hits him with her psionic fist to like. It's weird because like she does that in like the first issue. It said like when she did that it scrambled people's brains, but I guess she wanted to like look into his mind, so that's what happened here. Or maybe it was like accidental because she jumps on top of him and like does that, and then all of a sudden she's like, ah. Meanwhile, while this is happening, Spiral gets away with the child, and she like teleports out of there, and she's like, all right, we're free again. So it ends with basically Psylocke being inside Bishop's mind, which is like a really weird. It's really cool what happens because like the landscape is just so crazy. It's like a bunch of crickets and like this giant structure, and then she goes into it, and there's like this deer thing, but then like the world rips apart, and like there's this monster inside, and she's like, holy crap, it's a trap. And like it ends there, dun dun dun, to be continued. So yeah. Wolverine and the X-Men. So yeah, last issue you had Dog, Wolverine's brother, show up, and well, okay, what happened was like Wolverine took a bunch of students to the Savage Land, trained them in survival. So he does that, and then like his test is basically to just rendezvous with him after a certain amount of time, or be left at the Savage Land. And so like he starts that test and splits off from the students. Meanwhile, his brother comes back through time. There's like this cool flashback sequence like telling about like the origins and stuff of like him and Wolverine like in the past, and then like flashes forward back to like Savage Land, and he's and, like what has happened was like 100 years ago he somehow disappeared, but it shows that he went into the future, got all this technology to fight Wolverine, came back and gave him to his self in the present day. So his future him comes back to present him, gives him all this tech to like fight Wolverine, and the present him goes to the Savage Land to fight him. And so like at the end of the first issue, like Wolverine's subdued and like in a tree or something, and like Dog has like ripped open this like portal to the past and future, and like pulls in these like robots and other things. So in this issue, you see that he has brought that stuff into the present time, and you have like these cowboys, Cro-Magnons, and robots fighting the X-Men students, like at separate parts of the Savage Land. And then they all like meet in this like central area, or not central area, but like in this one area. And so like they're fighting, they're not really able to win, and then Dog comes along and like helps them out. And like the thing about Dog from like the first, I think, part of this three-parter, or is it a three-parter, or is this part 2? Or is this part 3? So in part 1, I think it was part 1. I don't remember. Part 1 or 2. It basically shows how Dog is like, he never gets anything right and is like a complete failure, like most of the time. And so he's trying to like redeem himself by like doing all this stuff to stand up to Wolverine and be like, yeah, I'm the one who's like finally going to show you how it's done without having all those super fancy mutant powers that you have. I could just do it with my normal brute skill. So like he basically ends up getting to the X-Men students and like gives them all this weaponry that he has from the future, and he's like telling them all these tactics while they're fighting, and like for a split second they're winning, but then the Cro-Magnon, the cowboys, and the robot people, or not robot people, but the robots from the future, they all team up and they're like, let's take down these students and this dude. And so like it ends with them basically having knocked unconscious Dog. He comes to, and then like the students are like, okay, what the F's going on here? Because you're obviously like, something's not right. You obviously brought these dudes from the past and future to our time, so that you're like, something's not right here. And like the whole time, Quentin Quire, who's a Kid Omega, who's a telepath, he's like trying to read his mind, but he's like, I can't get through. He has like mental block on his mind, so I can't read his mind right now. And then so like he knows something up, because, you know, like anybody he doesn't know something else, but basically like he doesn't trust anybody, so it's like it doesn't make him trust him anymore that he can't read his mind. So that happens. He comes to, and then like Quentin Quire is basically questioning him for like the rest of the book. He's like, he doesn't shut up, and like he's giving him crap, and then Dog just like punches him in the face and like semi snaps. He's like, I'm going to show you all, and this is my way to use brute force and blah 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 blah. And then just like ends there with like Quentin Quire like punched in the ground, or like punched in the face, bleeding on the ground. To be continued. Dun dun dun. Thunderbolts. This book, like, it's hard for me to talk about Thunderbolts and be all in like order of like what's going on, because it's kind of confusing, because I don't have as much enthusiasm when I read it, because it's good, it's just not as good as everything else I'm reading right now. So basically, but this issue is pretty basic, what happened. So the team is Red Hulk, Elektra, Punisher, Venom, and Deadpool. So leading up to this issue, they'd all been like trusting General Ross, who is Red Hulk, less and less and less. So they're on a submarine in this issue, and they all decide to like mutiny against him, which is really funny how they like plan this out. They're like, well, the only way we could fight him, or the only way he could stop us when we're fighting him is if he hulks out. But he's not going to hulk out, because we're on a submarine below like frozen water, and it would kill us all and all this stuff. But then like the panel after that totally shows like him kicking the crap out of them. But then after they mutiny, like the reason they mutiny is because like they knew he was not being truthful and like leading them on and like completely lying to them about the mission and all this stuff, because like stuff had gone down during the mission where it's like they've just been trusting him less and less and less. I'll go into like what the mission is on like when I do like the long version of this video for the series. So basically, they end up, also leader's there. He's been like resurrected by Red Hulk to because he's like super smart, and they need like 8 brains to their brawn team. So yeah, that happens. So they learn that the technology that they've been tracking isn't what they think it is. It's actually something else. And so it's like an even more dire threat. Somewhat. I wouldn't say it really is, because it's basically just they're going to have to fight gamma-powered mechs or exoskeletons in the next issue. That's what it ends with, because they're dealing with like the black market and all this stuff. there's gonna be a throwdown next issue. It's been pretty fun, this book, because there's always been like some crazy fighting going on. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the rundown of what I've been reading this week in the comic book land. Marvel Now. DC stuff later, hopefully. You know, sorry if you're DC fan and you're like, oh, taking some DC stuff. But you know, I'll get around to it. I only have so much time. I mean, I already said in my last video that I'm going to be doing like another Mass Effect video series. So no time these days. But yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm gonna not have it be as there's not gonna be as many like images this video as there are in my other synopsis ones for Avengers vs. X-Men, just because that would take a long time to edit, and I just want to have these be quick. Like I said, like what I'm reading, what I thought, what's going on, and like quick rundown of like every book that I got this week. And that was it this week. So if you enjoyed that, go ahead and give it a thumbs up or comment if you like thought it was crappy and you like have some positive feedback or something, or constructive criticism. I'm open to whatever you have to say. So yeah, feel free to like, favorite, comment, subscribe, or not. Have the haters, comic books are awesome. And until next video, or until you see or hear from me again, thanks for watching and listening. Mostly listening. And I'm now signing off.